Welcome in, my friends. The Champions League group stage draws here. Before we get to that, we've got a lot to catch up on. My name's just Rob. Commented on season 13, episode 9, and said, I think this is the point in the save where you need to swing for the fences. You've been top 6 for too long and not challenged for the title, really. Big signings at fullback are needed, I think. Now, that was before, we came in third, so maybe my name's just Rob thinks differently. Let's see how big of a swing we took. Welcome in, my friends. Oh my goodness. So much to catch you up on. It was good to get back to recording. That has helped me out mentally. Is it weird that I really enjoy recording Football Manager episodes? That's probably a good sign that we've been doing this for 3.5 years. It's it feels good to get back into the save. First, let's talk about some money. I got my notes over here on my other monitor. We got an additional $7.45 million in Champions League TV revenue, and then we got $12.18 million in coefficient money, which seemed like a lot. I don't remember it being that high before, but I may just be remembering the Europa League coefficient money. I'm not sure. Our youth facilities were no longer world class or whatever the highest rating was. Yep. Or state of the art. And so, our youth facilities, they're now great. You could see that. And so we took some of that money that we got and invested $2.3 million in it. And the board were like, yeah, sure. Fantastic. It's always interesting. I kind of wonder if they only have so many lines the board can say, because they were like, yeah, we've noticed we've been on an incredible run. It's like, well, yeah, but we've been top 4 or 5 for a while. I guess we did finish the season on a good run, but it's just it was a kind of a weird response. Hey, we're falling behind. Well, we've noticed we've been in a good run there, son. But are you gonna prove it? Caçapa got his first caps with Brazil. Many that got him a raise. He got involved in, I guess, a tournament. Granit Emery at 19, I think. Well, look, got his first cap for Albania. Senior team. Go on, son. We're getting 63.99, so 64 million throughout the season in Serie A TV money, so that's good. We've sold 18,531 season tickets. That is it's kind of finally is what it feels like, because it's only gone up a couple hundred is what it feels like every other season. Last season we were at 17,261 and at 97% capacity. I thought about asking for a stadium. And of course we received $15.24 million for making the group stage. We actually dropped one place in the European rankings from a reputation standpoint. We're currently 4.5 star reputation. We're now 23rd in Europe, which I guess isn't too bad. We sold some players. You knew some of this, but you didn't know all of it. And we bought some players. Not a lot of players buying, but I think critical players being bought. Let me just check here, because I think my name's just Rob also said big signings at fullback are needed, I think. That was the end of the comment. There's really no way. I mean, I could try and hide it from you. Should I try and do that? Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to stop recording and then restart so I know to do that. All right, here we go. So let's look at the transfers. So lots of interesting things happening there. Lots of things to buy and sell and yada yada yada. So let's look at the outs. I'm gonna remember. Editor GHG. Remember, we're covering up all the things. Okay. First up on the list, we sold Jordan Chavez to Southampton for 50 million euros. Wasn't thrilled with the amount. He actually wanted to go to Arsenal. They offered 30 million, and I was like, no. When you think about, we paid 7 million plus Jallo to get Chavez, which was about a 30 million, 33, 35 million deal, depending on how you priced it. So any way you cut it, we've generated a profit on the deal. My thinking with Jordan, he's only worth 56 million with the contract they offered. He got a 40% raise to go there. So initially he didn't want to go, and I was like, let's convince him to go. Like, they're going to pay you a lot more. And he was like, good point. But my thinking there was, I mean, he's great. But my thinking was he's 28. If you're going to sell a center back, you don't wait till they're 30. You know, like, he's going to be 29 in January. I felt like it was a good time to cash in. There were teams that were interested, and I feel like, well, one, we needed the money. Okay, that's the big reason, right? We needed the money. He's a non-EU slot, and I feel like we've got Montana, Sambasau, Granite Mary that can all come in. I'm not saying they're as good as Jordan Chavez, but the only way that they're going to get better is game time. And so it's a bit of a risk, but there may be times where we play 4 at the back and they can come in as subs, where we can use Oriol and maybe so. We still have Gabriel. How did I forget Gabriel? But with 3 at the back, we can play Gabriel because he needs game time to improve, with Oriol and maybe so. And then one of those subs can be So or Mary if we need to. Now, if somebody gets horrifically injured or we have a crisis or something like that, we may regret that decision. But I felt like 50 million for a player that we essentially played 30 something for, if you include Jallo, and we're freeing up wage budget. We freed up 100 grand in wage budget, which is another 5 million a year. Really helps the projection. So that's kind of the thinking there. Next on the list, and you already knew this, is Angelini has gone to Arsenal for 100 million. They're paying him 300 grand. And we freed up, it was like 190 grand in wage budget, which is essentially like 9 million a year or something, give or take. It doesn't matter. Like, that's a lot of wage budget. I hated it, but it is what it is. And I'm already curious because I'm recording this before I've seen your comments on the episode where we kind of started doing this. But I felt like I've not really been able to play a 4-2-3-1 effectively, so having Da Silva play Angelini's role in the 3-4-3 works. Are we going to be a little light in midfielders? Maybe, but for the money we got, we were in the hole. We haven't been in the hole financially in a long time, so off he goes. And we made, again, it wasn't an amazing profit because of all the signing bonuses and the sell-on fee or sell-on percentage that he got and the whatever, but we still made some money, and we got a huge chunk of cash coming back in. Next up, and this might surprise you a little bit, but once we go through the players that have come in, maybe it'll make more sense. We have loaned Rene Gall back to FC Copenhagen, where we picked him up for 80K a month plus his wages. So we bought him for, I think it's kind of hilarious, honestly. It's like we gave them 2.1 million. What is that, 3 seasons ago, and they're giving us 875 of it back. So, like, what is that? It's more than 33%, 40% roughly, give or take. And he needs game time. So, like, he's just turned 20, like literally just turned 20 in July, and they have given him, hold on, let me just confirm it. I think it was regular starter. Yeah, regular starter. He's already gotten 2 Champions League starts. He's played a start in the Superliga. I think it's going to be, and they have really good, I can't remember what the actual, what is it for their facilities? Superb training facility. So it's not like a huge step down from our training facility. So, like, I think that's a solid loan because he wasn't going to get the game time sticking around with us. He's 20. He's under contract. He's got a 2-year deal. So essentially what I tried to wise up this season or this summer with players that if I had the option, like with Montana and Sambasal's contract ends in 2033, so he has 1 year left. Montana has 2 years left, so I loaned Montana back out to give Sambasal an opportunity to develop in our first team with our training facilities to earn that contract before the January window, or we could sell him. Because what I've gotten myself into pickles in the past is we got a player on loan whose contract ends at the end of the season, and you're like, well, I don't really want to extend their contract, but I also don't want to lose them on a free, and so you offer, like Joel, right? So we offered him a deal that essentially ate up all of the loan income that we got. The $400,000 in loan income essentially got eaten up by offering him a raise so we could turn around and sell him in the summer. So I'm trying to avoid that. So Rene Gall has 2 seasons left on contract with us. This will help him develop, gets us some income coming in, and we can have him back next season to make a decision as to what we're going to do. I'm trying to like figure that out. So that's what's happening with Rene. This one isn't a surprise. I'm just hopping straight to it. Locke, we knew was leaving. 2.2 million is up to 5.5K. He's a squad player. He's already gotten a sub in Serie B and a sub in the Coppa Italia. Not exactly great, but see you later, Locke. Thanks for the 2.2 million. I just want to show this because anytime we could sell a youth prospect, like we actually get away with it, I'm kind of happy. This guy wasn't going to make it. He signed in... when did he come into our team? His deal was essentially almost up. We saw. I think he had a year left. Again, same thing. He had an extra year left. Bari was interested. He's worth 55K. I mean, it's peanuts, but for me, it's like, hey, we actually sold a youth player rather than just letting them leave on a free. So they give us 49 grand. Yay! That pays like snacks for the first team for a week. I don't know. Next up, it was time. We have sold to Lazio for 5.25 million. Pascal Giroux. This one hurt. It hurt. But he wasn't getting any better. He was going to end up being more of a rotational player. He's a rotational player for them anyway. We brought in some signings. You already know about the German kid, but we brought in another one. Maybe you already know about that. I don't know. I can't remember. But it was time. He was outstanding for us. Just overall solid. Did a job for us. But 5.25 was too much to say no to. It was good value. It was just like, yep, done. See ya. He's 26. Yeah. Our goalkeeper Domenico Anastasi left to the Crotone under 20s on a free, and we have sold Joel to Pisa for 5 million. I probably should have offered him for more, but I was just trying to get rid, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go." So again, I think that's a good deal for us. We got him on a free. We got 50K the first time around from them, and that essentially paid for his wages and then a little bit, like his wages from this season, I guess. We had him around, and then we got 400 grand, which we gave him, on a contract, and then we sold him for 5 million. So we've come out ahead on Joel. So I think that's good business. Get a player on a free, sell him for essentially 5 million. Everything else is a wash. Done. And then I'll just show you the rest here. So Marco Viviani has gone to Pro Vercelli. Rashid Bakali has gone to Pro Vercelli. I was kind of disappointed. I tried to sell him. Nobody wanted him. He's probably going to be one of those whose contract just runs out. We gave him a raise. It was kind of a risk. They're paying $2K a month. It's like that's not going to pay for the wage rise we gave him, but it helps. Piero Gurini, we're getting $1,000 a month from Catania. Victor Rangel, who's one of our newer prospects, is gone on loan to Lucchese for. They are not paying his wages. They didn't want to pay $250 a week for his wages, but they'll pay $500 a month. Like they offer, like I tried to negotiate, and it came back as like where it kind of like grays out as like 0% on the wages, but it still had the monthly fee thing. And so I was like, well, let's try 500. It's essentially half of his wages. And they were like, yeah, like, why couldn't you just pay half his wage? That's weird, but maybe it's a different bucket of money in their budget. I don't know. All right, my friends. So with that being said, here we go. again, I honestly can't remember. Maybe you're like, yeah, we already knew about these. But first up, we have, I'm just going to keep the whole screen blank because they're not in the right order. We signed Paul Kufner for 1.9 million from Borussia Dortmund. I feel like we're Borussia Dortmunding Borussia Dortmund, right? Like they typically have the on play. Oh no, maybe 19. Maybe they're doing their jobs there. You know, like when you're, yeah. They picked him up a long time ago. They didn't generate a profit though. Overall, I think solid prospect. Who knows if he'll reach his potential or not? But even if he's just a Giroud, right, at 2.5 stars, we got 5.25 for Giroud. We're paying this guy we're paying for 1.9 million. That's good business, and he's 19, and Giroud's 26, going on 27. So I'm happy with that. And we're paying him less than Giroud. We've lowered our wage budget, which is great. Next up, we have Ayo Ibrahim that we paid 52 million. 52 million. It could rise to 77 if he scores 50, league goals, which I don't think is going to happen. He's done a 6.7 in 2 starts thus far in Serie A, which hasn't been great, but he's learning this. That's actually improved. That was like the miniature red line and everything else. He didn't know the role. It's not that much more difficult. He's improving. He's 19. He's star player. He's 92K. I think he's going to be good. We just need to bet him in, right? Like he's learning Italian. That's going to impact his abilities. We're having him work on knocking the ball past his opponent because look at these, and dribbling's not bad, so we got him working on his ball control. Come on, son. Doesn't have a buyout clause, which is important. We've learned these things, and then I don't know if you would count this as swinging for the fences, but yeah, I mean, I guess swinging for the fences doesn't mean you hit a home run. You're swinging though. So we've gone out and we've signed this guy, Senol Gunesh. I don't know. I'm sorry. The S with the thing on it. I'm not sure how to say that. He's Turkish. I'd actually found him last season or maybe 18 months ago, but we couldn't bring him in. We didn't have the finances to do the deal, whatever. I was hoping we were going to be able to wait until he had a buyout clause of 31.5 million that expired in January, but there were already some teams that had some interest, like big teams, and I figured they would re-sign him and that number would go up. You never know. Maybe they would drop the ball on it, whatever. But we paid that buyout clause. So again, we sold Angelini and Chavez. We turn around, we buy Ayo on the right wing and Gunyesh on the left wing, or left wing back type role. I'm not saying he was amazing for Wolfsburg. It is a bit of a reach. He's only worth 16 million. He was worth like 9 million, something like that. But he's got 4 or 5 star potential. He's 3-star, one a regular starter. So we do have a little bit of a problem from a regular starter standpoint on the wing back situation. We'll talk about that. He's played a 6.7 the first 2 games as well. But I think, again, he's 21, younger. He's an attacking fullback. He already knows complete wing back if we want to play something crazy like that. Like we go to like a 3-4-1-2. But like with wingbacks, we could do that. Overall, yeah, it's swinging for the fences. We're paying 80K. He wasn't making that, but that's how we've ended up, folks. We're generating 163 million in, and we spent 85 out. That's a net positive in the right direction. Board's got to be happy with that, and I think they are because we have 72 and change, 797,000 change, 73 million in the bank. Now, again, that's including some Champions League, some TV revenue, some of that stuff. But at one point, after all the sales, we had 128 million, and then it dropped as soon as we went around and spent all the money to 59 million. But then it's gone back up. So our wage budget, which was up to, I think, 1.6 million, with all the players we had acquired and all that kind of stuff, is down to 1.4. That's massive. 200 grand a week is like 10 million. So if you think back to, we dipped into the hole here, 3 million. If everything else stayed the same and we didn't have this big spike, we would be +7 to the positive just off the wage budget, right? Now, we have taken some risks because we sold a really good center back. We sold a really good midfielder. We held on to Serge and Paul. I am surprised. Oh, and also, Gabriel Bon, who was not interested in signing a contract whatsoever with us because we didn't loan him to Freiburg, has gotten over it. I guess he realized, yeah, I guess I played like 26 games and I got 8 subs in continental Europe. I got 8 goals. I should like stop complaining. And once he like that came through, we offered him a contract to extend it. He's up to 33.5. There's still teams that are interested in him, but he's like that versatile striker, left winger. In a bind, we can play him in midfield. You know, we're going to keep him around, is what we're doing there. But let's go take a look at what the squad looks like, you know, with everyone together now. You know, I realized I had my earbuds in. It's like, we're not doing that. What are you doing, GHE? Why is GHE talking in third person about being in third person? Oh dear. This is not our normal starting 11. We've just, because the Coppa Italia, we hop forward to, you know, the first round. It kind of drives me crazy because like when I'm trying to set up my friendlies, and you can see we did pretty well. We did a little training camp in the United States and smashed some teams. But there was a game here against Brescia, but then it gets moved right before the beginning of the season. It's like, oh yeah, you need to go find another friendly, or that's going to be 2 weeks before you play Bologna. So we've got a draw and a win. It wasn't great, to be honest with you. He had a man sent off. We scored after that. Da Silva with the hat trick. Bologna, really disappointing. We scored in the 8th minute. Da Silva's 4 goals. All 4 of our goals is from Da Silva. Pretty good. And then kind of a mixer in the box. Whatever. But because there's literally from the 22nd to the 29th 3 games and then an international break, we are rotating a little bit. So maybe so Oriol Sambasal going to get his first appearance for the club. First appearance for the club? Second appearance for the club. He had a 1 substitute appearance back, whatever that is, 3 seasons ago. But first appearance of the season. You know, he's in World African qualifying with Senegal on a 705. Not bad. Grandi comes in. This is the problem. We got Grandi, Kluge, okay? Gunyesh is what I'm going to say for now. That's why we loaned Rene Gall. You can't see he's down here. That's why we loaned Rene Gall. This guy's an under 20, so we'll just move him. And then Grandi on the right. Paul, it says, doesn't know the right wing back. Like, he doesn't come up as an option, but he's there. And Ayo. So, like, we kind of had a surplus of wing back. Not a surplus, but, like, Paul's the backup to Ayo on the right. Gunyesh and Grandi are currently the same star rating, and Kluge is a half star below, but, like, they're all regular starter contracts because when we signed Kluge, we told him he'd be a fringe player and then a regular starter and whatever. So it's kind of like, we'll have to figure that out. But we do have group stage games, the Champions League. I think that'll be fine. So these are not our normal starters. Normally, we're going to be playing Gunyesh to give him game time, and Ayo because he's good, with Paul in the backup and Grandi. So it's kind of like I got to figure out where they're going to fit. Ken Lewis picked up an injury. What was it? Just a twisted ankle. So he's coming back. So he's getting his second start. I guess he started the last game, but he only went 45. Da Silva is rocking and rolling. 4 goals. Everything else is zeros. It's kind of crazy. Lothar has come along quite well. You notice from the star rating, covering that right wing. Lorenzo's getting the start at left wing because Serge got injured on international duty. He's down here. That's him right there. Right here, my cursor is. We'll talk about that. He's almost back. He'll be back in 7 days. And then Colombani up top, who's not had the best little run here. So that's a little concerning. But Lorenzo coming along nicely. Young squad. We got 31 on Maybe So, 27 on Grandi, who's talked about wanting a new contract. And I'm like, yeah, let's not talk about that. But lots of youth. I mean, we are kind of like Borussia Dortmund of Serie A. Like, we don't have... we got Serge, right? He's 28, and he's like... He and Maybe So, I guess, are the starters that would be the oldest, right? 28 and 31. And once we sold Chavez, it's kind of like, okay, we're keeping Maybe So. He's just going to run his contract out. Maybe at the end of the season. We might give him a 1-year extension. I don't think he's going to want 1 year, so we'll just replace him. But I think he's solid, so we'll keep him around for now. But what that means from like a backup standpoint, right? This is what I'm talking about being a little bit light. I kind of feel like this season, and maybe you're not going to want to hear this, but this season, the goal is to get top 4. We'll talk about club vision here in a second. The goal is to get top 4 and to hopefully win some silverware because the board want that. I'm hoping in the Coppa Italia. But I'm hoping we can keep them happy enough to give these guys, it's almost like we have some investments that we're trying to grow this season and really go for it next season. Hopefully not have to sell any major players next season. You know, maybe we lose a Grandi or maybe we sell a Kluga or something like that to kind of balance the books a little bit. But from a backup standpoint, right? So let's look at the center backs. You got Sambasao, right? He's a backup. Because Giango, I've only taken him out because he's come back from injury. You notice the 83% there, and he's already started 2 games in 4 days, so he's going to get a rest, and we're bringing in Samba because we're playing Fiorentina, who just got promoted. Granit Ameri has an opportunity to be really good. I think we just need to give him game time. Those are kind of the center backups. I mean, Noah Bonnet and Thomas Broggi could play there in a bind, but not really. Again, from a left back standpoint, you've got Kluga and Grandi and Gunyesh. Grandi on the right with Ayo and Paul. Midfield, you got Luce and Da Silva, and then Bonnet, Broggi. Marius is back because, again, contract up in a year, so we're seeing if we can, like, improve him. He's not played. He's hopefully going to get a substitute appearance against Fiorentina. He's worth 3.1 million. People just want to loan him. It's either like we're going to sell him in January or we're going to extend him. So he has the opportunity to be like a decent backup. He's 2-star, 3-star potential. He just needs game time. So we're going to like give him some game time. David Pesoni here has 2 years left. He's worth 5 million. He scored like 4-5 goals in preseason. I know it's preseason, but he had some set pieces and looked really good. So we're going to try and play him more, mixing in some of that 4-2-3-1. Again, considering that, you know, maybe our center back situation isn't as strong from a depth standpoint. And then up top, we got Bon covering, essentially Bon, Lothar, Lorenzo, and Colombani are covering striker and the attacking third, with Pisoni maybe thrown in there. Obviously, Serge, once he's back, covers the left, so it kind of gives us some more flexibility. But it's like, when you look at the ages here, right? Like, all really young players, we just need to give them some game time and help them to develop. So I'm committed this season, and I know it's not good to rotate. That is the thing that kind of drives me crazy, right? It's like, I feel like I can't have a, you know, Champions League squad and a Serie A squad, or a, you know, Champions League and hard Serie A teams and a lower league, you know, or lower table Serie A team. But I am committed to playing Sambasao, Granit Ameri, Noah Bonnet, Broggi, Marius, and Pisoni this season. I think the other rotations, you know, Paul and Gunyesh is going to be like that. That's just going to happen because they're going to get tired or get knocks or whatever. Same thing with Kluga and whoever is on the left. Paul and Ayo and Kluga and Gunyesh with Grandi thrown in there. I think that's going to just naturally happen. But I think what we're really going to have to try and do is the midfield and the center backs is like not just go, ooh, it's like the only way they're going to get better is playing. And so we've got amazing facilities. We've got good mentals in our squad from a leader standpoint to like help them develop. We have just enough older players to help mentor. Like, we're not completely barren in that department, and really see if they can make something of themselves and then either sell them on or they stick around. That's kind of the goal. That's also why we loaned out. Let's just take a look at the overall loan screen. It's easier to see rather than having it hidden behind my head. Rene Gall, there wasn't going to be spot for him. So he's going to go get a full season with Copenhagen. He's going to lose the Italian citizenship thing or nationality, which kind of is not great because you have to be there continually. But the money's worth it, and the development experience and the training facility, I think, is worth it. We've loaned out this Victor Rangel kid, Viviani, Bernardini, Montana. Again, he's got 2 years left. Help get some experience. Gorini, Bacali, we talked about, and Marchesini. So not as many as last season, where, you know, people in the press were like, "Oh, you're stockpiling players." It's like, well, because of that, I feel this way. Because we stockpiled those players, we were able to sell some of those players, right? So, meaning like we sold Joel, we sold Locke, even though we didn't really loan him out. But like some of these fees that we're getting now are based off of last season. Some of them aren't. But some of those players from last season that we loaned out are now the backups, right? Noah Bonnet, Marius, hello, how you doing? Welcome to the club, right? I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, and we're going to loan this Fiorani, Gianluca Fiorani. I think he could be good, to be honest with you. We're going to get him loaned out, even though he's got a little bit left. We're going to monitor him and see if we need to offer him an extension. So, nobody's wanting to offer him a contract just yet from like a transfer or anything like that. So I feel like we've gambled a little bit. Like we've bolstered our wingbacks. It just might take a season to get returns on it because we've got a German, a Turkish, and a Portuguese players that are going to have to learn Italian. So they may not develop as fast, but they're also young. They have high potential. Give them the opportunity to develop this season, and then next season I think we go gangbusters. Like I'm going to be looking maybe to get a big signing in January. Again, part of that planning for the future, where we get a stud of some kind, maybe in the midfield. I've got my eye on Costi that we looked at last season. His release clause ends January 31st of the upcoming season, which is probably after our window or maybe at the very end. But like, could we sneak in and not have to pay $95 million for him and get another really good midfielder? We're going to be keeping our eyes out for that. I did have somebody in the comments, I apologize, I don't have it pulled up right now, ask, hey, you haven't really done anything on the loan market. I just prefer to own the product on the field. That's just my preference. And I feel like unless we found ourselves in a bind, with like some significant long-term injuries, it goes back to, I want to give Emery, Bonnet, Broghi, Marius, Bassoni opportunities rather loaning in one of those players that is just automatically going to be the backup or the rotation option. I want to give them an opportunity to develop and be that rotation option. That's just how I prefer to do it. Next season, that might be different. So I will hold that as a caveat. If they don't develop, like if Bassoni ends up being 2 stars instead of 4, or Marius ends up being 2 stars rather than 3, maybe we sell Marius, or Broghi doesn't develop, then we might go, hey, let's go get a 3 to 4 star, doesn't want to be a star player, but can be a regular starter type contract that we can mix in to really bolster our depth. That might be what we do. But I'm pretty happy with the squad right now. Even though, I feel like the 2 major sales we did of $150 million allowed us to reinvest and solve that wingback problem, assuming they don't get injured. I just think it might take a season to get the returns, and I'm willing to wait. It hurt, but I think I'm really curious what you think, but I think it was the right decision to hold on to Serge and Colombani. I thought about selling Bond until he was like, oh yeah, we're good. And there was a player at Inter that was essentially the same that I thought about doing a swap for, but like, he's fine. He's been around and he's still, he's gotten 4 caps for Denmark. He has some potential and he's going to get the opportunity this season to develop, right? He's going to get another, it wouldn't surprise me if he got 28 appearances split with starts and subs. So that's kind of where my head's at. John Short is back from his long international duty. He's got 4 starts and 2 subs in preseason on a 6.8, and because of that, we've kind of like jump-started his development. So welcome, John. You're gonna get some game time this season. It just may not be in the Coppa Italia because again, Club Vision, they want us to. Oh, it's challenge. They want us to win silverware next season. It'd be great if we could do it this season to get rid of that, right? To get rid of this right here. They want to shoot the quarterfinal in the Coppa Italia, so that's why it's kind of like, I would normally play John Short, but he may get like the Brescia games, once we kind of settle in. They want us to qualify for the Europa League. They want us to play counterattacking football, and they want us to sign high reputation players, which I guess would have been okay based on the signings we did this season, but I hate that they keep adding stuff. And then qualify for the Champions League, win silverware. And then down here, kind of hidden, they want us to win Serie A, which I guess makes sense. Like you said, we've been in the top 4 or 5 for quite some time. It's kind of like it's time to make the push. Okay, I guess we'll try and make the push. But here's how the bank balance looks: 73 million essentially. I feel much better about that. It's been a long time since we've had that much money in the bank. It is going to drain out slowly, but not that much. I'm hoping they will fix the transfer budget thing. Like after it kind of settles in after the transfer window, maybe they go like, oh, we got 73 million in the bank and we're not going to spend all of it right now. Like if you look at the projection, it looks all right. Like this was looking very, very bad before we made those sales. So this looks pretty tasty. So I think we've done a good job there. I think I owe you, oh my goodness, I owe you end of season awards and commercial summary. We're going to leave it to the end, I guess. Oh my, let's go do that. Oh, before we do that, let's do the draw. So I only have this, so I could save the file and then go back to the old files. How about that? We're seated third because we didn't win the Europa League, so that isn't great. Is what it is. And on the team bonuses, I went normal on the Continental and the Serie A and high on the Coppa Italia, hoping we can make a run. Let's just see how this lines up. Okay, so we're not going to get Liverpool, right? We're protected. I forget. There's so many freaking rules around clubs in the same country not playing each other. So I think we're not going to get Liverpool or Napoli. Pick your poison. That would be great. Did they win like the Europa League or something? They must have. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, that doesn't make sense that they are a first seed. So that wouldn't be bad. I mean, Arsenal's not a great draw, but they're currently in third, so that'd be okay. We get to see some of our old players. Benfica and Barcelona, Frankfurt, huh? Okay. All right, interesting. And Real Madrid, tough. United and Dortmund. Ooh. All of these, I think Group C is the dream. No dream. You'll notice I forgot to look at the coefficients. We're 81. Club Brugge is on 61, so that's, something, I guess. That's not good. Oh, they've won the league 3 years running. Unai Emery is the manager at Man City. They came in second. They won the league the year before. They're flush with cash. Oh, dear. It's going to be tough. Yeah. Schalke, huh? Whew, that's a tough... Are we in the... Let's leave it like this. So Maribor is going to end up with Lyon, Bayern, Sevilla. Are we in the toughest group, you think? I think you could argue we are. I'm just looking at them. What do you think? That's a pretty tough group. I mean, but again, they won the Europa League kind of like we did, so they're not that much of a studs. And I think like Benfica and Barcelona are better than Lille and Besiktas. So we've got Atletico Madrid, Man City, and Schalke, who I know again like. But they're a Bundesliga team, right? It's not like they're not Basel, where you're like, yeah, or they're not Maribor down here. I think we might be in the group of death. I don't think this is our year, to be honest with you. If we can get third place and make it to the Europa League, because again, getting that cash money, if we can make it, I'd love to make another run, honestly. Get knocked out in third place, go win the Europa League, so we get first. That would help us achieve this club vision of qualify for the Champions Cup and make it like, could we win? We could win some silverware. That'd be great. Like we could 2 birds, 1 stone, right? So let's go look at the signings of all that. All right. Here is the commercial summary. New deal, extra 400 grand for Continental competition sponsor. 4 new deals, 6 million per year. Overall sponsorship up almost 2 million. Everything else kind of down, though. Broadcast revenue's down. Obviously, competition prize money because, yeah, that makes sense. Corporate hospitality because we were in the Champions League, right? Yes, that makes sense. Match day commercials down. We sold Angelini. We sold Chavez. But it is nice that Silva, who just got here, is already 4th on the list. We're keeping Surgeon and Colombani. I'm interested. Who do you think the other 2 kits that sell this upcoming season, based on what you know now? But I can't remember if I should probably write this down. If this number is increasing, 6.34 million with 3.55 million being non-domestic. I think that's good. I wish it would show this. You got matchday commercial and retail going down, but like this seems like it's larger. Because we've like we did Scrolling up. A training camp in China. In the previous season, we did a league, so we didn't travel. And then we did a training camp in the United States. And we did an away trip to China. So we're trying to expand our markets, right? And then like this season, we went back to the US. So like we're trying to build our reputation, right? We've avoided a tax hit. Yay. We're good with financial fair play. Profit of $75 million. Not bad. It's all player sales. All right. End of season awards. Let's go. I also forgot to note that the Olympics happened. And Surge. Yes, Surge was one, I guess, you can have 3 over 23 players or something like that in the Olympics. Surge, Sambasao, Bon, Rene Gall, and Lorenzo all got called up to Olympic teams. I'm curious. Well, no, because it's not every season. I was thinking, well, we got so many young players. We're going to give them game time. Will they make an appearance in the next Olympics? But by that time, they may be over 23. We'll figure it out. Right. Player of the season. End of season award. Surge at 41%. Surprised me, to be honest with you. You know, his average rating is a little bit better than Paul's, but Angelini's was, I mean, he was involved in 28 goals versus 18, and he played almost the same amount of minutes, but not exactly. That, it just surprised me. So he gets 41% of the vote. Angelini gets 28%. Colin Bondi gets 19%. Kasapa is our signing of the season, and Logthar gets the young player of the season. Again, going back to the signings for last season, I guess that makes sense, right? De Silva hadn't really paid off yet because he just got there. Kasapa is our starting goalkeeper and played, you know, decently well. Good enough to get called up to Brazil's keeper. I'm going to have to go back and show you that. Noah got loaned out. Gabriel didn't really start, but like as a, you know, for the future. And same thing with Lorenzo, kind of like rotational players. Definitely a starter, but was betting in and started as our goalkeeper. So that makes sense. So I'm curious if you had come to that conclusion. I guess we'll see when we look at the comments. But let me take us back to the future, and we'll look at Kasapa. So let's show you this, the international duty, going back to, again, I don't think this is every game in the summer. Like, I feel like they replaced the games. I don't really understand. But we had this French Youth Invitational match. I don't know if it's the, I guess the Under-20 World Cup doesn't make sense, but what is a French Youth Invitational? Like, what? I have no idea. No idea. But John Short got called up. No one played outstanding, but I feel like it's good experience. Christian Messina, who's going to play a bigger role this season, helping cover the left wing. Colombani in a friendly. Lothar in an under-21 international match. Gabrielle, under-21 international match. But apparently this isn't the invitational. This is just under-21 matches. Friendlies for Granite. European Football Championship match. So is that... I guess that was the... Was that the Euros? I can't keep it straight. He wasn't really our player at this point. Yeah, because this can't be all the games. Copa America. So he got called with the Copa America, but he got 8 caps. The last screen I just showed you had no caps, and this summer he got 8. Like, he is the starting goalkeeper for Brazil, at least in that context, which honestly concerns me a little bit. Let's take a look at what it was. Yeah, it was a Copa America. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. He's 20 years old. And I'm not understanding why this guy wasn't involved. Like, he wasn't injured. But, like, I guess, based on the values and the... Yeah. Kasapa is better. So that was just very exciting, right? Noah Bonnet gets a call up. Samba Sal, like I said, Rene Gall, Olympic. Let's look at the Olympics. Can I just see the tree? Is that a thing? Oh, it's current season. There we go. You can't see it as a tree. That's not useful. Italy and the United States get out of the group over Senegal, unfortunately for Samusel, and Japan. Colombia and Ivory Coast with Serge. Barely get out of the group over Denmark with Rene Gall. Australia and Morocco get past Austria and Mexico. That's probably a shock to the Mexican under 23s. And Germany and Spain over China and Paraguay. I think you would expect that all day long, wouldn't you? Quarterfinal. What you got? You got Italy, Spain, Colombia getting past the United States, and Germany. There's the tree. Germany over Colombia, Spain over Italy. Germany loses to Spain in the final. And my friends, that's your update. That is quite the update. Again, I hope you didn't, I start going back in my head like, oh, you already knew about Paul, and I think you knew about AO. So like, did I really like big this up as a massive amount of players, and it's really not? I think it's more on the selling side. It's not just Jordan and or it's not just Angelini, because I think you only knew about Angelini and Locke. So it's like Jordan, Angelini, Locke, Gall getting loaned out, Giroux leaving, Joel. Like, that's a lot of outs. So I think we've stabilized financially. I'd like your thoughts on what my thinking is with the long-term plan, right? To give these guys an opportunity. And if they're not up to stuff, then maybe we bring somebody in January from a midfield standpoint, but I want to give them an opportunity to develop. And I think it's like we're planting seeds. We're going to water them. We're going to weed correctly. And will we get a harvest next season? That's kind of the goal. If I had to summarize today's episode, that's the goal. My friends, the next time you see us. Oh, phooey. I hate where it does the draw and then it doesn't immediately throw it on the calendar. It's like they don't know. It's like, oh, we got to figure it out. Like, just announce it. Put it on the calendar. We start with Atletico Madrid. I'm going to show you Napoli and Atletico Madrid because those are big games. We are trying to make a push in both competitions this season. We're starting off at home, which could be massive. Maybe they won't be as match sharp, right? Because they'll just have had an international break. A man can... Oh, do they have an international... Yeah, surely. Yeah, they're in Europe. Yeah. Yes, they'll have had the same thing. Can we take advantage at home? Can we start off with not 0 points against Atletico Madrid? And then we'll do Roma and Man City. We may mix it up because I know we were doing continental episodes last time. We may do Serie A continental episodes this time. We'll see how it goes. It kind of lines up, actually. Roma, Man City, Torino or Milan with Schalke. Bari is back in the I think it's the first time actually. Is in the Serie A for first time ever. We're not going to show you that game. All right. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm excited to see your thoughts. Have a good one. Hit that like button. See you then.